Welcome today to this EDUcast sponsored by VoIP Innovations and Telecom Reseller. It's programmable communications services equal revenue. And we're talking about programmable services within the VoIP environment, not just simply regular telephony. Today with me is David Walsh, President of VoIP Innovations. And as we do in every EDUcast, we talk about what we're going to talk about. One is we want to point out the goals that you should have as a provider, why you should think about UCaaS versus CPaaS, because most people think of UCaaS, that's the way to go. We think there's more to that. And one of those words we think is important is customization of the communications platform. Then how can you differentiate services? How can you create vertical market specific services? And how do you get to market as quickly as possible? Because all of those are goals that the service provider has. And let's talk about those goals for a moment, David.
So from a communications provider goals, I think, from a CPaaS perspective, it enables the service provider to effectively gain rapid growth. And I mean that by having the ability to customize your telco and have your numbers work when, where, and how you want them to. Basically having the capability of programming the network to fit your specific business needs and processes. And of course, customer satisfaction. I think where we're at today with CPaaS and programmable telco as it relates to UCaaS, I think a lot of customers are looking for an out-of-the-box type solution. Some customers are fine with a bundled solution, a UCaaS solution, but a lot of times you're going to find different requirements where certain integrations may be needed to affect a specific use case. I can go into examples, but it can expand your sales, open up new verticals, and it's actually very good retention for your customer base.
Well, you've talked about unified communications, but in my opinion, it's kind of a commodity. It's got some real benefits, but also limitations when I'm trying to sell a service. What's your opinion?
Well, I agree. I think UCaaS is absolutely been one of those things where it's bridging all of these different types of features in a typical PBX environment that was on-prem. And brought into the cloud originally with voice over IP, and then adding in different types of collaboration features. I think the all-in-one bundle of these types of features are limiting. You have to actually, as a business, fit that box of services or that bundle of services into your workflows and your business processes, which is really the limitations of UCaaS, where you have from a CPaaS or programmable telco aspect of things, you can develop and program the network to do as you need it to work within your business processes.
Let's continue with that comparison between the two.
Basically, when you look at UCaaS and CPaaS, UCaaS is a bundle of features. You might have their voice over IP, your PBX type features, call flow and IVR and so forth. You have, you're paying for the entire solution, whether you use that feature or not. It's very difficult to customize. The CPaaS, it's quite the opposite. Everything is abstracted. The features are presented in easy to use APIs that you can actually integrate the different types of services or applications that you have to program those, your telco or your collaboration needs to work in conjunction with your business processes. And it opens up an entirely new type of capability and flexibility to really go to market quickly, prototype integrations, and if it works, great, it will scale, and you can pay as you go.
When I think of the word customization, I actually think of two parties here. One is I could provide a service like this where my customer could do some of the customization, but also if my customer's really not up to it, I as a service provider can do it for my customer. So what does customization actually mean for us?
So you've got, functionality where you have both mobile and wireline telephony voice. This is where you can tie in, you know, for instance, notifications for a doctor's office, where you might have SMS, automatic SMS notifications for appointment reminders, where you may have, from a conference bridge, that it'd be great to have some kind of translation service or speech recognition service that would transcribe your conference calls. And I mean, that's a huge value. Two-factor authentication, which is the most secure way of actually authenticating a user. That's all another functionality that comes from CPaaS.
I see WebRTC in both columns on this page. Why would that be important to me as a service provider?
A WebRTC as a service provider opens up the doors to all kinds of different browser-based type of applications, from browser-based call center applications to interactive SMS and omni-channel communication between your customers and their customers, whether it be in Facebook or LinkedIn or WeChat or SMS. It all comes through one stream.
Now let's move a little further, because I saw on this page the term SDK and REST APIs. What does that mean to me?
So REST APIs are a set of APIs that actually give you as a developer or a company with a development team the capability of choosing really easily, writing different types of scripts to create a certain type of action, where you might want a number to actually send an SMS based on a particular event. Software Developer Kit with WebRTC enables basically a framework to roll out different types of applications easily, that'll work in conjunction with your platform, your CPaaS platform. And so having SDKs it jumpstarts the developer's capability of actually integrating these different applications to your CPaaS platform relatively quickly. So it's vital to have.
Let's explore some of those capabilities on the next page.
So the capabilities here on this page, I mean, these are a subset of a larger set. And I'd start with IVR. A lot of times companies have different types of requirements around IVR. You may have a mobile first solution where this is a mobile company that let's use real estate, for example. Real estate agents can advertise, have calls coming in to their listings, and can have automatic recordings and also take transcriptions, basically locking in the lead from the caller ID for them to be able to call back later. Voicemail call automation effectively is basically transcription and capability of emailing or texting that transcription to you, whether it's on a landline or a mobile number. With voice recording, having SIP trunks automatically voice recorded, or having the option to invoke recording within a call for transcription, or going back later and based on tag words, being able to pull up conversations or a topic within a conversation real quickly, to be able to keep track of notes and so forth. And of course, text to media, that's similar to transcription, but you've got artificial intelligence that you can integrate into CPaaS that will actually do that for you. And that's just the beginning. Just imagine something like Alexa in mid-call coming in to help coordinate a lunch date.
I have never worked with CPaaS as a developer, but what knowledge and what expertise would I need to make this an advantage to me, make me differentiate myself from others?
Well, the great thing about having a CPaaS solution with programmable telco and REST APIs is that it gives developers that don't have very much telco knowledge. What this does is really make it easy and to easily develop applications and integrate your back offices and your workflow processes within your business for your communication needs.
The word differentiator pops up on that screen, and I think there's two ways of looking at this. One is, I'm a service provider. How do I differentiate myself from other service providers? And then also, how can my customers differentiate themselves from other customers? Would you delve into those differences, please?
From VoIP Innovations, super excited right now. We just announced the acquisition of Appidays, which enables us to become the first wholesale provider that provide white label programmable network elements and APIs and the WebRTC. This is a first that I know about there. Most of the other CPaaS players are really more on the retail side. We provide transparency in terms of who the underlying carrier is. So unlike some of the other companies that provide CPaaS services, we're providing the choice between using your underlying carrier, what number, what network it's on. I think that's unique in the space. As we layer this, programmable telco platform, Appidays, which is a CPaaS platform, on top of what we currently have with a automated orchestration platform that is award-winning in the industry, it really gives us a powerful combination to provide down through our channel that they can leverage. And we've already gotten a lot of great response, a lot of people interested in what we're providing. So not only from the programmable telco aspect of things, we're taking it a step further. We're providing a showroom, effectively a marketplace of curated applications and services that are already vetted and can be sold down through our channel, through our customers, and down to their end users, which is something entirely unique to the wholesale space and in the industry. I think some companies are trying to get there, but this is something where I think we've got a lead start on, and we're forging a new path in the wholesale world.
I think one of the points that's important for our listeners to grasp here is that you can create vertical market specific services quite easily. You can make SMBs look like an enterprise, and you can make enterprises compete better with their competition.
Exactly. I mean, you have a lot of SMBs out there, that may want some kind of IVR or auto attendant that gives them the capability of sounding like a much larger, credible entity with real dynamic work call flow functionality, and of a larger type PBX enterprise system, where you might have a two-man shop that's out there, and it might be in real estate, it might be in limousine, somebody that's runs in a limousine company. From an enterprise solution perspective, it gives the flexibility for large companies to quickly scope out and prototype integrations into some of their back office and intensive workflows that it doesn't have to reinvent the wheel, basically, to begin to integrate and leverage CPaaS, especially for large enterprise developers. And then you have a whole nother section of entrepreneurs and software startups, digital startups, where they have a different type of concept around new ways of communicating, they can leverage this platform, the prototype, and go to create an MVP of their product and go to market quickly.
I think one of the advantages that you're offering here is pre-built services, and I can pick them as I choose or I ignore them, but I don't have to know how to build all the service myself.
Exactly. So if you don't have a development capability, or you have really an idea of how you would leverage the functionality of CPaaS, VoIP Innovations, like I mentioned earlier, we're providing a showroom of different types of niche microservices, so to speak. Some of these are already branded and have their own customer base and are solve a specific use case. Others will be something that we've developed off of our programmable telco, our platform, our Appidays platform, where we will provide different types of services like SMS enablement, and that SMS enablement does not necessarily need to be VoIP Innovations numbers, where we'd also provide a client, a WebRTC client, to enable them to receive and send text messages to their numbers, where typically they wouldn't be able to do that on a landline, so-called landline. And where we're going to have different types of curated partners in here to help facilitate and solve specific business needs.
One of the things I think is important is the term time to market. And what you're telling me is, I as a small business could go to a service provider, buy this stuff, say, put these pieces together, and possibly have something online within a week or two, not waiting months for some development process.
Absolutely, Gary. I mean, it's something that gives you the ability to be agile, and the ability to, get something out to market, get something out into beta, and to a handful of customers within a week, 2 weeks, where you can see if a concept is really got legs or not, or whether or not you need to make considerable iterations to it. But it provides a lot of flexibility, and I think that's really why Gartner's thinking that this is going to be a $4.6 billion annual industry, and not 4 years from now. I mean, I think we're just at the beginning of CPaaS. I think you're going to see a lot of other companies out there that even enterprises that are looking to solve this type of problem. To get out the market quickly, because the market changes so quickly, as you know. It's important to stay agile and fail fast, so to speak, so that you can find the right solution that works and scales.
When you said fail fast, what I think the philosophy now is it's okay to fail because you have such agile tools, you can make up for it very quickly. Is that right?
Exactly. I mean, I think the old way of doing things, where you have this waterfall method, where you go into 2 releases a year, where you're building up to this big feature release, and sometimes the market's already past you. A lot of times it has, and that's what's happening right now. So this really gives enterprises and SMBs and startups the capability of trying new things. Seeing if things work, and then if they work, then it's basically pay as you go, grow it from there.
We haven't talked very much about your organization, VoIP Innovations, but you've been around quite a while.
Yeah, we've been around. It's going up close to 10 years, I believe. I've recently joined the company. It's a fantastic company. We have over 2,000 plus ITSPs and MSPs as customers, and we're growing quickly, and we provide services, phone numbers in US and Canada, North America, and 60 other countries around the world. And like I mentioned earlier, we've just completed our acquisition of Appidays, which is based out of Paris, France, and they are considered one of the leading WebRTC companies out there. And from a CPaaS platform, we felt that was the best solution for us to add on top of what we currently do great, which is provide phone numbers on a very, an award-winning network with an award-winning back office platform that orchestrates everything.
You mentioned the word credibility, but I think this slide is another way of looking at credibility. These are companies that have adopted CPaaS and are promoting it through their businesses. Maybe the customers don't, the end user doesn't know it, but seems CPaaS is really valuable to these firms.
Exactly. I think a lot of people don't realize that, most large enterprises, this happened over the last year and a half, really, and the last 2 years. Everybody knows who Uber is, and I don't think Uber is even on this slide, but you see Airbnb and Coca-Cola and Bank of America. These are all companies that are leveraging, Twilio, or predominantly they're leveraging Twilio. Some of them are leveraging us currently, but the idea was to really give our audience here the idea of who's using CPaaS. Airbnb is using it for reservations, for reserving a room or a place to stay. Bank of America is using it for two-factor authentication and several other types of notifications where you might want to receive SMS for your bank balance or some kind of fraud alert. So other companies like Vocally use it for providing a business first, Google for business type solution for SMBs.
I'd like to move on to the next slide because we need to complete our conversation today. I want to point out a lot of resources here, and if you haven't gone to the VoIP Innovations website, I'm always surprised at how much blog information is out there that actually can help businesses do their business better. And then to point out, we have ebooks, some white papers. We've done a number of EDUcasts with Telling Our Reseller, and most of these have been very specific to how to do your business better. If you're interested in contacting VoIP Innovations, there's the email, the phone number, the website is available. Thank you very much, David, for today's presentation.
Gary, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed the visit.